Alright guys, this is Nick Wolf-Prenny here with the Chunksmeister. We're gonna be doing a little ScrimCasting for you guys. You know, haven't done this in a hot minute. But we got tonight Nullstone Gaming versus Frog No Hippo. Just a couple recognizable names here. Some of the Last of Us guys. Looks like they're ringing. We got some Beaver Banger. And on the Hellborn team, I guess we're looking at what? We got Art of Foe. That's pretty recognizable. You guys probably know him. A couple other decent players here. But how you doing tonight, Mr. Chunks?
Long day, you know. I'm just playing Diablo the whole day in the past few nights. There was a new patch out. There was a new patch out, so I will admit I have been playing a lot of it. I've docked a lot of hours into that game in the past few days, so
dude, Diablo's
I'm lacking
not
sleep.
now.
But yeah, I have played a few games of Han here or there, but you know, just been hanging out and stuff.
Dude, I'm just as bad as you. I've caught the Hearthstone bug. I've been playing that game non-stop.
Hearthstone. Anyways, so what's happening here with the drafts?
It looks like we have our first couple picks. We can go through the banning phase first and foremost. So it looks like the Legion team banned out Cthulhu Font and Rhapsody, and the Hellborn team banned out Parasite and Magmus. I guess that Cthulhu Font and that Rhapsody are pretty standard. Parasite, I think it's a preference ban, and then Magmus, I think Magmus is just one of those heroes that's huge on the scene right now, and people just are sick of seeing him. I'm sick of seeing him. You know how I feel about Magmus.
Kraken. Yeah, well, I think all these heroes here are heroes which would be picked up if they aren't banned, just because they are this month's favorites. But yeah, looking at these picks here, right now, both drafts look really strong.
Interesting, most definitely. I like it. I mean, the first couple picks that came out on the Legion side, we have Pharoh, followed up by the Ophelia and Slither. And then we have Hellborn so far has picked up Torture and Kraken. Torture is pretty standard. Kraken is, I think, a flavor pick. I don't know what we're going to see coming out here from the Hellborn team. But how do you feel about that Ophelia pick, Martin?
You know how much I love Ophelia. I mean, I guess that's my hero.
See, if you guys don't know, Chunks has he has a couple sub accounts, and one of those subs is a sub account that's 100% Ophelia. That's actually the name of the account. If you can figure that out, maybe he'll play with you one day. But yeah, the dude's pretty good at Ophelia. So.
Oh, on another note, wondering if you have D&D on.
Oh yeah, I probably should put that on. Let me try that. /DND. Boom. Look at that.
Wonderful. Because I know that a few people in here love to
spam.
To just, you know,
do a little
spam all day long.
Spam.
Yeah. It's annoying at times, but there are other times where he has his moments. This one person in particular, I won't name names, but I think he knows who he is.
Is that actually coming up on your Can you see that when I type that in? Or is that because I have okay, just making sure. Alright, so what are you following it up by with a Bubbles pick? I think Bubbles is honestly becoming my second most hated hero to be picked up, because I'm just sick of fucking seeing him. Like, I can't stand seeing him in every game. I mean, I understand that he's not ban-worthy material. So yeah, well, I don't really like him as a hero anymore. I think he has a strong team fight, but he doesn't really offer much on the table in terms of damage. Like here, I would rather have a Hag over Hubbles any day. Because of his ulti, he has a slow. His ulti has a crazy amount of damage, and if Hag has farm, he will snowball. But Hubbles, his spells, they don't really scale as much as Hag. So that's what I think about it. Did you see what Diglett said? So am I. Twitch.tv/Axley live. I got S2'd. Well, the thing about Bubbles, like, and the reason why I don't like him. I mean, I understand why people like him, but I don't like him. He's one of those heroes he's good at everything, but he's not great at any one thing. Like, he has relatively decent creep clearing potential. He sort of has a built-in blink. He has an okay AoE ulti. He has an okay AoE burst skill, and he has comparable attack damage, toward the late game if you have the right items on him. But I'm just sick of it, man. Like, in these scrims, I want to see something picked up that's a little bit different, just like Green picked up on the Solstice. And I can make note that the Blitz pickup a little bit earlier is always a fun pickup. I love seeing Blitz played in whatever role they try to put him in. So
I'm liking it, but right now I think this Legion lineup, they don't really have a real tank. All those heroes, they don't have a lot of health. Like, I can imagine early game that the Blitz and Slither will be picked off in every team fight almost all the time. So it'll be interesting.
Well,
I want to actually see how this works out.
They do have some tankiness when it comes to the Pharoh. I mean, the Pharoh is definitely no slouch whenever it comes to absorbing damage, and I think that's just because it's hard to put damage down on him with the Hellfire and just in the inherent tanking ability of a strength character. But I'm curious how they're gonna run this Blitz, because the Blitz Slither combo it's pretty OP. I mean, it's one of those combos that when you run them together, you're pretty heavy on the usage of mana, but it's hard to survive in a lane like that. And right now, with the heroes that they pick up, I don't know if they're going to use Slither as that dedicated, farmer or what. But I imagine what you got, whatever they pick for what you got here, is probably going to be running that carry, him or Beaver Banger. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, actually, what you got, he'll most likely be on the Ophelia, because he is their main jungler.
Nice.
I know that in the past, when I have scrimmed the Legion team, they usually ran Blitz and Slither in the long lane. They would have SR in their short lane with Pharoh middle. So I actually have played against this draft before, and it actually worked against us. But I don't know, like, if it was would it be because my team misplayed, or if they had a half decent draft. So I don't know.
Well, I thought it was interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, see, Chunks and I have had discussions about Klanx in the past, about, if he's a comparable hero with top tier play. And I say yes, he says no. But I tell you what, man, I played in some standard Force to Cavador 5 versus 5 normal matchmaking games. And Klanx late game, if you get that Elder Parasite on him, he, early on, but he just takes off the form so crazy fast because of that passive auto attack magic additional ability. But it looks like we're going to jump into it right now. I need to make sure that I'm Johnny on the spot with switching this over, because I've been pretty bad recently. So let's go into the game. Boom! Look at that shit! I tell you what, man, I'm getting good. I'm getting good.
Well, so, how many times have you actually done this now? 4 or 5?
At least
should be catching on.
Most of the time, it gets to the point where I'm like 5-6 minutes into them setting up for the initial strategy pause, like they typically like to do, and they either the viewers who are watching the stream say something in chat that I actually don't see, or you have to tell me, yo, switch over. So, I'm gonna put D&D back on.
Please do. But yeah, shit. The main reason why I don't like...
Why did that not work? /D&D. Oh, there it goes. My bad.
Yeah. The main reason why I don't like Klanx is he needs a lot of farm and items in order to be useful in the mid game. That's the thing, because I know that he must have like a light brand on him early on, that or a Nullstone, in order to take camps really fast. Once he has that, he needs like an either a shroud or like an energizer, anything where he's able to run in and out of fights really fast. And then I don't know, I feel that he has a lot of build up, and once he has it, he performs okay. But I would rather see a hero like a Dark Lady or even a Flint. I want to see Flint again in scrims and high level play.
I forget there's a button. Item purchases, we'll see, lock camera. There's a button that you can do to pop out and show items. What is it?
I think it's F1 or F2. It's F1.
Is it F1?
F1, yeah.
No, but there's like a button you can push that it just pops it out. I forget what it is. Let me see here. Tab, I think it is. Yeah, that's it. That's what I want.
I don't have that. What?
Yeah, just press tab.
I'm pushing tab, but nothing. Oh.
You see how it gives a little wiggle? Look at that. I make my screen twerk a little bit. We got the screen twerking going on.
I don't want to wiggle. I just want to, you know, let out on a play.
Well, my thing about Klanx is I'm curious how they're going to get the matchup here. Because if they do the Slither Blitz together and they send the Pharoh middle and the Soul Reaper bottom, I imagine you're going to see Bubbles middle.
1 second. Yeah.
Solstice in the jungle. I'm just curious how they're going to set up these lanes. I mean, the Klanx matches up really well against the Soul Reaper bottom. And he doesn't really have to worry about being ganked because of his, what the hell's the name of that ability? What is the Hawk? Yeah. But it looks like the Hellborn team is going to run right into the Legion team top, so we got a 4 versus 4. I'm going to say that the stun advantage goes in the direction of the Hellborn team, but oh, so Solstice does level up the stun. We're going to try to turn this. Pharoh's taking some heavy damage on he ends up falling after the Solstice, so the Hellborn team does end up with the Bloodlust, but it looks like Pharoh's in a really bad spot. He's stuck in his own money wall with the torture and the bubbles, and if they turn it, oh wow, okay. Slither drops and and
quad kill. What a start.
Quad kill for the Klanx. Wow, okay, well, we were talking about, you know, a nice fast start for the Klanx, and he buys his boots right off the bat, and he still has another 400 sitting there with items. This Klanx is going to be huge. I just want to see the GPM right now. His GPM is 7,000 GPM per minute. Oh, that's so good. 7,000. The Slither was sitting at like a little, it was like right around 3,000 GPM per minute, so I mean, that doesn't say much, but so the Slither does end up getting the Bloodlust, but that really doesn't count for anything because the entire Legion team is wiped out. Torture's a really bad spot. He's probably going to end up falling here. He does land a stun on all 3, but he's got everything on. I told you! So this looks like this is going to be a pretty kill-heavy game. This top lane is going to be interesting. I don't understand why they're laning it the way that they are. It looks like they have Klanx in the jungle and Solstice Torture on top. That's kind of interesting.
It's actually very interesting. I don't know why they would, because I know that Solstice had his charge first, so I think that's why he's hanging in lane, because then once he has his passive at level 2, he's able to actually head back in the forest and take stacks.
Yeah, I imagine that's got to be the reason why, because at the point that all that fighting went on, I don't think he had anything selected, and whenever he got jumped, really the only way for them to do anything in that fight was for him to level up the stun, because Torture was in a bad spot too. So if the Torture drops at that point, they don't have any stuns. So with the Pharoh Mummy Wall and the Blitz stun, you're looking at those two with the slow. I mean, they needed to try to equalize that fight right in the beginning. I really need to how do I shut all this freaking chat off?
D&D,
that's what I just did. I did it like 6 times, and it keeps. I need to do /IC.
Oh, so that's what it is. Sorry, IC. I mix those two up all the time.
Team chat. There we go. That's what I need to get rid of. Alright, so back to what I was talking about. I think, you know, they'll probably eventually rotate this out, but I think the only reason that they can afford to do something like this is because, you know, Klanx is already level 2 at the end of that team fight, and he's already sitting pretty with experience and farm. So, I mean, if we look at the GPM charts right now, after it's settled down after a minute, he's still at 969 GPM. That's pretty good.
Alright. Well, looking at each of the teams' drafts, who would you think has the better chance of winning?
Honestly,
Let's make bets right now.
okay, beyond if we take out the factor of the first team fight, which obviously went way in favor of the Hellborn.
Yeah.
I probably would still pick the Hellborn.
Really?
Yeah, I would. Now, if this game well, okay, the only reason I say that is because I think the Hellborn's lineup dictates that they are going to have some sustainability past the mid game, because right now the early to mid game is going to be dominated by the Legion team just based on their lineup. If they can make it past the mid game, and by mid game I'm going to say like the 18-minute mark, that's going to be my point of reference. The 18-minute mark, I think the Hellborn team is going to take this game.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I think the Legion team has an advantage here, just because if you think about it, the Legion has both Ophelia and Soul Reaper, like two heavy healing heroes, right?
Yeah.
And they have a heavy pushing lineup. By the, let's say, the 18-minute mark, they will have they'll have every outer tower, or they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, or they'll have at least 5 outer towers, and they'll have a huge old lead ahead of the Hellborn team. At this point, if you look at the Hellborn's draft, they have a lot of bursts. They have Kraken, Solstice, Torturer, right?
Yeah.
With all those heals, it will counteract all of that burst damage, and in the team fights, Legion or however long each team fight will be, the Legion will have that slight edge in every team fight.
I think, like I said, I think it's all going to be dictated by time. If the Legion team, because the fact of the matter is the Legion team is going to jump back into this. There's no doubt that the lineup that they have dictates that they're going to jump back into it. And the thing is, this Solstice, even though he's sitting back by his tower, and he's just going to chill here until basically he has the avenue for him to make the transition back into the jungle. He's not safe sitting here, no matter what. Even if this Torture is within range, he's not safe. The amount of damage that this combo between the Ophelia, the Blitz, and the Slither can put out can drop him, even as a strength hero with 600 life right now. So, and the Torturer is even in a worse boat, because if he gets caught by any one of these heroes, he's going to drop at 500 life. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking at time, because once Klanx gets his items, he doesn't need to be with his team to farm. And that's one of the luxuries of that Hawk ability, is he can just basically fly all over the map, and he doesn't have to worry about being ganked, whether it's just flying down a ledge or flying through the trees or what have you. He could be on the opposite side of the map. And in a team fight, if he does not get caught and he pops his ultimate, I mean, he could put out some serious damage. I mean, I know a lot of people that play Mid Wars talk about Klanx being an OP hero, but if you imagine that the Legion team is going to have to fight in somewhat of a grouped up setting, and that's going to be dictated strictly because that's how the Pharoh operates. The Pharoh operates in that manner. The idea is to trap one or multiple people in his mummy wall. If that happens, there's going to be a cluster on those people, and that's where Klanx is going to shine. And the other thing that kind of sets me to think this way is the Kraken ultimate is almost a direct hard counter to something like a Pharoh mummy wall, because if he sets it down inside the mummy wall, whatever is inside that mummy wall is also going to be affected for the entire duration of the Kraken ultimate.
Right, yeah. I know. I think on paper it just sounds really good, but when you put on the field, that's when you'll really see if it works or not. But I don't know.
See, like this Torture is in a really shit spot. This Torture is in a really bad position, and the Klanx flashbangs to do something here, but the Slither's gonna land the slow. It's gonna be followed up by the Blitz stun here if he can get in range, and it's not gonna happen. They're probably gonna turn this around on this Slither. The Slither's in a really bad spot now. They need to try to auto attack him down, because this Solstice is getting ripped by the Ophelia with auto attack. Slither does end up falling, and Klanx is in a bad spot now. They might be able to try to turn this on this Klanx. Klanx does pop a health cost, but Klanx is going to fall too. This is just a chaotic jungle. We're 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the game, and we have 9 kills already. The Torturer's probably going to fall here.
No, I assume he will. Yep, there we go.
Incredible.
Yeah, I really liked how Blitz sped up the Catman to actually catch the Torturer.
I'm just surprised that the Klanx flashbang, is that what it's called? No, it's just called
flashbang. Yeah.
Yeah, the Klanx flashbang allowed them to, you know, to get one of those kills in the first place. But if you do look at the kills, so let's put it this way: Klanx started out with a quad kill. It was 4 kills to 1. We're now 5 to 5, guys, and that's what I think Martin was basically trying to say about this top lane and the lineup and how they're going to be able to exert some of the pressure out on this Hellborn team. They're really not going to be able to do anything about this. Ophelia's in a really bad spot. If he can land a second flashbang, okay, nope, I'm not going to be able to put out enough damage. So it looks like he's going to go the boots option first. I mean, I don't know, man. I think I would have probably just stuck with the red booties and tried to go straight Elder. But you know, I'm no gold tier player. I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand you probably want the extra strength just to be in this lane to be a little bit safer, but you know, I would have picked up, say, the gloves of the Swift, and instead of going, you know, 2 points into my lackey, I probably would have put at least 1 point into Hawk right off the bat. It looks like Klanx is in another bad spot. He speeds up the himself, but it doesn't look like they're gonna be able to close onto the Klanx. Let me check some of these other lanes. So, the Kraken seems to be doing alright bottom versus his Soul Reaper. It's 17 to 3 versus 16 to 5. So, I mean, it's pretty even. Soul Reaper is definitely ahead in life. That's obviously going to be natural because of his healing ability.
Yeah, I think in that lane, the Legion has the advantage there. SR against Kraken, so the bottom lane, Legion wins, I think. In the middle lane, I think it's around even. It's basically whoever outplays the other person. But right now it is even in the middle lane as well.
I mean, obviously the Bubbles has the advantage, but I mean, the Pharoh is doing a pretty decent job for, you know, being against the ranged hero like that. I just think this top lane, man, is so incredibly interesting. The funny thing about this is the Torture. I mean, he has the boots, but he cannot come. If he comes anywhere near range of these two, he's gonna drop. No matter what the Klanx does, he's gonna drop. There would be so much slow potential. I mean, that's probably why he went boots first and foremost, because if not, he'd have like 100 movement speed by the time the Slither slow and the Blitz, what the hell's the name of the skill? Pilfer completely procs out.
Ooh, for me?
But let's check items. I mean, it looks like the Solstice is gonna go Midas, which is, I guess, pretty standard for a Solstice.
I don't know about that actually. Him building an Elk Bones first. I think it's more of like a pub build, because as a jungler, you want to try and be as active as you can early game, and he doesn't even have boots, and this will really slow him down. And like when he both farms and wants.
I don't disagree with you there, but I think you need some kind of farming utility on Solstice, because even though he has you know, the ability to flash farm creeps with his passive in daytime, yeah, I think a Midas is a comparable pickup to something like an Elder Parasite. And I know you played on a couple other teams, but a player that comes to mind when I think of Solstice is I guess Jordan.
Oh,
what you got?
And the Pharoh ultimate.
Pharoh ultimate lands
on the Torture,
and
good sight to pick up.
In the jungle. Flashbangs do come out of slow the Pharoh down. He's gonna fall. A huge ultimate by the Bubbles. It looks like they're gonna be on top of the Slither and the Blitz here. Slither's gonna fall, and the Blitz is gonna, you know, haste himself away there. But that was huge by the Bubbles and the Pharoh. The Pharoh landed a good ultimate, but it just seemed like there was too much slow and too much stun to come out from the Hellborn team to allow him to really catch or chase down anybody. I mean, the Torturer lived. That's all we're gonna say. The Torturer lived. So it's pretty impressive. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah, the Torture did. Oh, no. I'm sorry. He did fall. Torture fell. Did he fall?
No, he didn't.
He actually didn't fall.
He didn't fall, no.
He didn't fall, okay.
See that. So it was basically a failed gank off of Legion team. Yeah, exactly. And they had pulled off a double tap there, so.
Well, that was a huge shell surf. Shell surf. Man, I can't really talk today.
I can't either right now. But yeah, the Legion team, once the SR just has bottom pushed out, I think he'll roam middle.
Looks like the Pharoh just timed out, so they're gonna pause this again.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's with the timeouts on the Legion team? That's two timeouts already.
Maybe it's the US East servers. I don't know actually. It's weird.
I tell you what, dude. I was actually impressed. There was a Hearthstone streamer last night. He was like the top Hearthstone streamer with like 7,000 people watching him. And when he finished playing Hearthstone, he was definitely an EU player. This was probably midnight. He switched over to Han. I was actually really impressed.
Then how many viewers did he?
I don't know. I didn't check view count after he switched over to Han, but I don't know. I imagine imagine it wasn't too bad. You know, a lot of those people watch those players because of personality. I mean, I know when Zlapt plays Hearthstone, he still has like 700 people watch him. So. Other interesting news. Did you see that Moon Meander's on the Complexity Dota team?
Yeah, he's playing with Riser
and Swindle.
Swindle Melons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Limp. So that's
pretty
a powerhouse
awesome.
right there.
You know, we love that Han trash going over to Dota too. I wish those guys the best of luck.
Likewise. But
so let's look at some of the stats here. I mean, the GPM charts are pretty impressive at the 7-minute mark. We have two heroes on the Hellborn team that are over 300 GPM. The Klanx, which has fallen pretty hard. After that quad kill, I would think that his GPM would be higher than 310 per minute, but he is sitting in the kill lane. Bubbles is doing pretty good with 320 GPM, and Solstice, who is yet to finish his Midas. Yeah, he doesn't have it yet. Is still doing 250, and that's going to jump drastically as soon as he finishes the Alchemist Bones. But on the other front, we have Ophelia, who's at 287 GPM, flirting with that 300 GPM mark, which is great for an Ophelia. She's not that fast of a flash farmer when it comes to a jungler. The Soul Reaper, which is sitting heavy at 340 GPM, and our kill lane is doing better than I expected. I wouldn't expect high GPM, just high numbers there for kills. But we're looking at 250 GPM on the Slither, and the Blitz is, you know, sitting at the harass level of 140, which is pretty typical for that role. But you know, 7-8 minutes in, we're pretty even, man. So I mean, like I said, you're gonna see in the next 10 minutes or so here a pretty decent shift, whether it comes to kills or GPM, to determine the outcome of this game. So I'm curious what the Klanx is going to build after the boots. I mean, do you think he'll go the Elder? I mean, I understand a lot of people think Elder Parasite is a pub item, but there's certain heroes that it's 100% viable on, and Klanx is definitely one of them. If the Solstice isn't going to pick up the Elder, I think, you know, Klanx could make use of it.
Thinking that might be an item, or he might build a BKB first. Shrunken Head. Do
you think he'll go straight Shrunken Head? I would think he would go, well, I don't know. I mean, whenever you talk about stuns, they really only have one stun. Only one really, you know, thing of any kind of duration lockdown. So, I don't know. I mean, the Blitz is really the only thing that's going to reference them for stun. The Hellfire is not going to do anything because he can just hawk right out of the mummy wall. So, I mean, I think the Elder would be a pretty good pickup. So let me see who's all. Or why am I not even showing up for?
For what?
For Han.
What do you mean?
Like on the Han. Oh no, okay. It's coming up as 1600 pubbing? Why is it coming up as 1600 pubbing?
Or your stream name. Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me just log in. Why does it do that? I don't know why the hell Twitch does that. My thing is coming up as 1600 pubbing. Okay, ScrimCast. What was the name of it again? They are... What were the two team names?
Nullstone Gaming.
Nullstone
against
Gaming.
Pharoh, no HIPPO.
Nullstone Gaming versus...
Oh, I forgot to tell you as well that The Last of Us has actually disbanded.
Really?
Yeah. And what you got at Fuzzy Sloth are now with the Legion team. So.
Okay, so like this, they aren't ringing. This is like officially their lineup.
I believe so. Yeah.
All right, so I just edited this. Let's see if it comes back. Why does it keep coming back up with 1600 pubbing? I don't understand.
Let's get it on.
I wish I knew.
All right, let me try it one more time. ScrimCast.
And if you're watching right now, the game has resumed. So.
All right, I'm gonna try to type this as fast as I can. Frog, but there's like special spelling. No, HIPPO. Okay, done. Let's see if that actually takes. I doubt it's going to, though. So let me get back to the game here.
Sure.
All right. So we have the bubbles rotating bottom. I don't know if he's going to try to set something up here on the Soul Reaper. He does have his ultimate. He is ready to go. He catches the Soul Reaper in the ultimate. Kraken was kind of just delayed there. I don't know if we're going to see the ultimate come out for Kraken, but he misses the charge. And Ophelia does use her ultimate to try to keep the Soul Reaper alive. I don't know if they're going to be able to drop him. This Soul Reaper might turn it on to both of them. He turns and drops some Kraken, and Bubbles is in a really bad spot right now.
There we go.
And he shell surfs on top of himself to get the kill onto the Soul Reaper. Point blank shell surf. I like that. It was sort of an evasion, but not really. One more spell from Soul Reaper, and that'd have been a dead Bubbles too. I don't know what the hell Kraken was doing. I think he might have been AFK.
I think he might lag. Yeah, I had a feeling that he was lagging.
Oh wow! Huge ultimate landed by the Solstice top, and Klanx does land the flashbang, and Slither's gonna fall. So that was a pretty good combination. Huge ultimate by the Solstice, and the only reason he was able to do that is because they countered that ward there in the jungle that they originally put up to try to gank the Solstice or the Torture, whoever was pulling. But see what I'm talking about the Klanx? I mean, there's just really no way that they're going to be able to catch him. I mean, he just scouted into the jungle right there without any kind of consequence.
I see why, but if you think about it, if the Legion team trains and pushes as many towers as they can early on, the Hellborn team, a lot of their heroes, you have Klanx, Solstice, and Kraken, who need farm. That's the thing. And if you push early on, you basically starve them of all of their farm, and then you have the Legion team just wipe their whole forest nonstop, have all the waves pushed, and then you rinse and repeat that.
Well, we're
and you basically slowly starve the help.
Yeah, we're going to see a push bottom here. It looks like we're going to have Blitz, the Ophelia army, and the Story Barrier. They're not going to be able to stop this tower from falling.
The Legion has destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Blitz does not attack very fast. I mean, does not do a lot of damage early on to towers because, obviously, the Lackey is magic damage, and that does not affect towers. So, it doesn't even proc, actually, whenever he's attacking the tower. But I don't know, man. I mean, this Soul Reaper is going to get big. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he is the highest farmer in the game right now. But I still like the Klanx later on in the game, especially with the additional farm that you're going to see come out of the Solstice here, who's sitting at 320 GPM right now, who's already picked up the Midas. And he is farming. He's farming pretty hard.
What's really interesting is that Klanx has picked up a tablet.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow.
I had a small feeling that he would, but I don't think it's ideal. I'd rather see him have an Energizer.
Well, they are doing exactly what you suggested. This Bubbles is okay, that's an illusion. But Solstice lands a huge ultimate. And we're gonna see a massacre here in the middle lane. There's so much stuff going on in Kingdom Cast. The Pharoh's in a really bad spot. He is being auto-attacked down by the Klanx. Another flashbang is going to hit the Slither. I don't know if the Pharoh's going to be able to get away. Klanx does pop the Hawk to try to chase him down. Solstice doesn't have mana to stun. We're going to see another flashbang come out. He's going to try to evade it. He does, but Klanx is going to end up getting the kill. So that definitely worked out for the Hellborn team there middle. Another huge ultimate came out from Solstice. Who did he burst down right from the beginning? Blitz. Just melted him. Basically,
he burst down Blitz, and then he charged onto Soul Reaper.
And it looks like they're going to try to turn this here on the Slither. Klanx doesn't have any mana, so there's nothing getting... Okay, Flashbang does come out, and he's going to be able to drop the Slither. He might even be able to turn around here on the Blitz. He does drop the Blitz. Wow, talk about feeding the carry. I mean, that was a pretty good ultimate to come out by the Kraken to hold the Blitz in place, but I don't think Blitz would even have enough auto-attack damage to drop the Klanx down. He's sitting in 7 armor, so he's going to negate a lot of the Blitz auto-attack, and Blitz is only attacking for, what, 50? So, I mean, he would have needed at least 3 more auto-attacks there to try to get the kill. And it looks like Pharoh's going to try to get the snipe here on Blitz, but Blitz is already healed up enough.
Well, it's a start.
I don't know. Do you think they're gonna just keep trying to do this tower pressure game? Because that middle tower pressure force. I mean, I thought the Legion team was just gonna be able to push that down, no questions asked, and the Hellborn team turned it hard.
I think in that team fight, it was the Illusion Rune which had really saved.
And it looks like Pharoh's gonna jump here on the Torture middle. I don't see him surviving. Hellfire comes out. The Slither auto attacks. The Blitz auto attacks.
What's weird though is that he had a ward, or the Hellborn had a ward at the Legion Ancients and the lane ward in the middle lane. So I don't know how the Torturer, he didn't know that that he was being hopped on. He must have had vision on the Pharoh. But yeah, I don't know, all these random pick-off deaths.
To check my stream one more time to see if the damn title one changed. Yes, it finally changed.
The Hellborn
Somebody was saying winner of the most ums per minute. Was that me? Am I umming it out, guys? Or is that Martin? What's going on?
I think it's me.
It's probably me. It looks like they're going to push this bottom tower, too.
Tower.
That's some serious pressure to drop that tower pretty quickly. They do have sight. Well, I mean, I guess they're not going to really do anything because the Pharoh's made. I imagine if the Pharoh was bottom lane with them, they may have attempted to jump on. But looks like they're just going to try to steal the Ancients here back, and I imagine they're going to rotate and pressure the middle lane. The top tower does fall. I guess, yeah, the top tower does fall for the Legion team by Klanx, which is pretty huge. I guess, oh, okay, that would be me doing the ums, guys. I'll try to cut that out, because I just caught myself doing it right there. But it looks like they are going to rotate toward the middle lane here to see if they can pressure it again. Solstice does have the ultimate up, and they are going to scout him out this time, so they don't get wiped by the Solstice ultimate. Klanx does drop a flashback, hits a bunch of them. Kraken lands the ultimate on 2. Jesus! Solstice lands another huge ultimate in the midst of a Bubbles ultimate and a decent Kraken ultimate, and immediately 2 people from the Hellborn team fall, and it looks like they're going to try to keep pressure up, but the Soul Reaper does jump in the middle of it. He can't do anything. He's locked down the entire direction. He walked right in the middle of them, thought he was going to do something, and we see the concede mode come out at the 15-minute mark. Incredible! The lockdown and the slow is too much for the Legion team. Wow. What a fight in the middle lane. They scouted out the Solstice to make sure he couldn't get off the full duration ultimate, and he does anyway because of the Bubbles ultimate and the Kraken ultimate. And did you see what happened? Did you see what happened?
Oh, I went the whole thing.
Pharoh jumped in, and where did the Kraken ultimate go? Right on top of him. Well, you know, they're calling the concede modes, but it doesn't seem like everybody on the Legion team up. Oh, never mind. I'll take that back. That was a huge team fight in the middle lane. God. Well, the Klanx threat is real, as long as you get a quad kill at the 30-second mark of the game. Gotta get that quad kill.
No, but I'll be honest, I don't really think he had a huge presence. I think the real MVP of that match was Art of Foe, because he landed like 4-man help ultis all the time in every team fight, and that's what really helped out Solstice in landing his ultimate on almost the whole team.
Well,
so I think that he was the one that mainly outplayed the Legion team
if we
entirely.
look at it from a damage perspective, just sheer damage output, Klanx won the game. But I am going to say Art of Foe, whenever the Legion team sort of balanced it out early on, he's the one that shifted the tide back in their direction with that huge ultimate when Pharoh decided to come top and try to get that gank on the Torture, where Torture lived. Art of Foe was the catalyst to allow them to win that team fight. But I have to say the biggest factor in them conceding early on were the two huge full duration Solstice ultimates in the mid lane, which in the first one it blew Blitz up completely. It was a one shot. It was an insta give. And the second one took the entire team from full health to half health instantaneously. He still got off the full duration, which was incredible. But yeah, I do agree. Art of Foe is definitely the player that shifted that back into their, into their realm. So I don't know, man. That was a really entertaining game. I love when I see games that we have, interesting heroes in the Klanx. I love seeing the Klanx pick up. I like seeing the Solstice pick up. It's a hero that we don't see very often. And I don't know. I was very entertained. It was a lot of kills. A lot of kills. It wasn't a safe scrim at all. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Martin?
I think that both teams, the picks were all right. I think that the Legion team just made a lot of errors and they were outplayed. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you in the sense that I think that the Legion team should have dominated the early game. I don't think the Hellborn team should have even had an opportunity to take it to the 15-minute mark.
Yeah.
The certain jungle fights in the beginning of the game dictate that, and certain mid fights can completely switch the tide of the game. But I guess I'll take that as a closing note. This is Nick Saberwolf Prenny. I'm here with the Chunks Meister. Thanks for coming on, Chunks.
Thanks.
I think
Happy
this
to be
is
here.
probably going to be the only scrim we're going to do tonight, so...
I need to catch up on sleep. I'm so tired right now.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. All right, man. Appreciate you casting with me. This has been another SaberCast. Thanks for tuning in, guys. All right, that was fun, Martin.
It's all right.
Enjoyed that. That was actually a really fun game to cast.
I'm telling you, man, the Legion team they were outplayed. If they pushed earlier, then they would have had more of a chance, but they didn't push early enough.
I really wish that the name of that fucking scrim would have been better, because Diglett had like 30 or 40 people watching him, and I would have loved to stolen some of those viewers.
Yeah.
But oh well, what are you gonna do? So let me see. Is it still showing up as? No, it was up. Okay. Yeah, he had 42 people watching him. I don't know why the hell that wasn't taking for some reason. Alright, let me end this broadcast.